Hi and welcome back to another episode with Zeus Gaming UK. Guys, thank you for keep checking in and coming through and watching these videos. It does mean an awful lot, especially when what I'm doing is for the community and to help as many of you as I possibly can. There are a couple of things that you could do for me that would mean the absolute world. There is a subscribe button just down here that obviously is completely free of charge. If you're not too sure what it means, it's exactly the same as dropping a like on Facebook or maybe even a follow on Insta. So please go ahead and whack that for me. If you do have some more time available, there is a Linktree based URL website just below, and that takes you to one page that has all of my socials and everything for you to have a little look at and check out. More than anything, I stream on Mixer so regularly at the moment, and it'd be amazing for as many of you to come through whilst I'm live streaming as possible. Drop that follow, get in the chat, and let's talk. Let's talk about the videos, let's talk about any advice you need, let's just have a general chat. So in today's episode, we're going to go through a few bits from StreamLabs OBS, with a program that I currently use. And I guess what I was trying to say, it's something where I am quite excited to go through because it's what I currently use and I really rate this program. So in today's episode, we're going to go through uploading your overlays and things like that, about updating your About Me to some customized panels to make that look all good. And what we're going to focus on in this episode is if you have gone and bought that overlay package from Nerd or Die, like I mentioned in my earlier videos, and I'm hoping you've bought that supercharged. Okay, now if you have, brilliant, this video is going to be for you. If you haven't, or you haven't bought that package in particular, don't worry, there's still going to be lots of bits you're going to get from this video in particular. However, in my next video or episode, we're going to go through a little bit more if you haven't bought some of those supercharged bits and work around some bits and pieces. I'm also going to go through some of the things that I have learned and some bits that, even though they're there and included, I feel work a bit better. So without any further delay, let's head straight over to StreamLabs OBS and let's see how we are going to import that overlay for the first time. Since the recording, or the initial recording of this video, Mixer have made an announcement in conjunction with Microsoft, which I'm sure you'll all be aware of by now, explaining that Mixer is going on the 22nd of July. It's not too much to worry about because actually, or at least from this video's perspective, because everything that we're going through is completely transferable to every platform. There's one part of the video that we are going to talk about streaming to Mixer, and that's when we're doing the stream settings. However, all you're going to do in this part is just select whichever is appropriate. This video will work exactly the same for both Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, so it is still of some use. Okay, so let's have a little look about how we would then input those panels that came from Odin's package, from Nerd or Die, and putting them onto our Mixer profile. So we're going to flip straight over to my live screen where you can follow through and looking what I'm doing. For the interest of this video, I'm actually signed in as Odin to help him out and do it on his behalf while I can show you guys. And I have also already pre-extracted the files that we're going to need. But if you haven't done that yet, they will tend to be called individual source, or individual panels, or individual custom graphics, something along that terminology, depending on which one you've gone for. And then within that, you're looking for panels, and that's how you can get to where we are going to go now. So one of the first things we're going to need to do is ensure that we've got the files that we're going to be using extracted. So get them onto one place on your desktop, make sure they're easy to find, and go into what you are going to be needing. For the exercise that we're going to do, I need this attachments one, so I'm going to go in and extract that. When you extract these kind of things, it's likely that they tend to extract in the same folder that you've already used. If I go back, I can see that the non-zipped file version is just here. Once I've done that, I'm going to go across to Flickr, which will look like this when you first log in. You're going to go over to the top right hand corner to click upload. You're going to choose photos and videos to upload, and then we're going to find the folder that we'd already created on our desktop. The next one I'm going to do is Odin's About, so I'm going to click that. At this stage, if you're really organised, what you could do is put all of the ones in that you know you're going to be using, uploading multiple at the same time, and then extract them all. I tend to prefer doing it one at a time just so I can make sure that I'm happy with it before I move on. But just for the demonstration purpose, let's also put in there should be one about rules. There we go. So I'm going to do two at the same time so you can see exactly how this could be done. Once it's taken a second to load and the bars have gone, just go to upload photos, click upload, and that's going to take a moment to do what it needs to do for you. At this point, you just need to left click on the one we're going to use, come across to the bottom right hand corner, left clicking again, go into view all sizes, and then when this is loaded up, you're going to right click on this and you're going to go open image in new tab. I have had some people tell me that doesn't work, so there will be something here as well if that one's not shown about viewing image, which will do the same thing where it opens in a new tab. All you want to do is have the ability that it does open in another tab and we've got some kind of web address or URL for it, because this is what we're going to need. Once you've got that, you've highlighted it maybe by Control C, you're going to come across back to your page, we're going to go into edit, we're going to go down to where we want to put it in, which is going to be about here, and by default from memory this should put it in exactly the same size. So we're now going to click on image. In this URL we're going to Control V and OK that straight away, and that's now loaded in for us. Now what you can see is I've actually made my one above slightly bigger, and I think that for me looks a bit better than the size of this one. What you can do that makes this really easy rather than trying to drag and drop is if you double click, it's going to show you here the width and height of what I've decided I want to go for, so 400 by 70. So if we then scroll back down here, double click this one, but alter these measurements as so, and then hit OK, it will automatically adjust to exactly the same size. We can then get rid of this about me because that's already been put in and we're ready to go. The only other thing to show you while we're here on this page is if you double click this hardware and you head across to link, you can put a separate URL that when someone clicks one of your banners it takes you to. So if we OK that off, save the changes we've made and make sure that they're there. There we go, there's his about, looking all fresh and nice. And then I've actually coded this hardware one that when I click it, it will take you to his shop. So if we can now click that, it will open up a page straight away with all of the different bits that Odin uses the game, as well as building his custom build PC, everything he's done, including the overlays he's used and the drink that he drinks whilst playing. So there's lots that you can do using those links, so it's worthwhile having a little look, having a play and working out exactly what you want to achieve from it. Okay, so here we are over in StreamLabs OBS, which might be one step ahead of where you currently are. So if you haven't already done so, head across to your web browser, type in streamlabs.com, come down here and click the download Streamlabs, and as you'll see the program will start downloading straight away and open an executable file that we can install Streamlabs from. Once we've done that, we will have a program that looks like this. It will look slightly different. I have had to add in a device capture and a audio input capture. The device capture allows you to see what I'm doing at the moment, and the audio input capture obviously takes my voice and records that so you guys can hear. But we will show you how to add those in. But first of all, I want to show you how to get your overlays in and show you why potentially using Nerd or Die Supercharge is really handy. So when we've opened settings, which is done by the bottom left hand corner cog, the word settings, I want you to come down to scene collections, straight over to import overlay file, and then hopefully on your desktop you have created a folder that you've got access to. So what I'm going to do for this one is rather than use Odin's, my friends, I'm going to use my original borderline overlay that I purchased from Nerd or Die. I'm going to go straight into Streamlabs quick install, and then I'm going to pre-select or select the one that I like the look of. Now if you don't know what these look like when you've bought the package, you can just go straight back to the Nerd or Die website and just tally up what these different colours and things look like to make your choice. So now once we've done that, we should be left with something that looks very similar to this, and this should be what you're greeted by. Now I pretty much want you to ignore this screen straight away. I'm going to make what I'm doing full size. and I'm just going to make me predominant to be able to talk through the rest of what we're going to look at. Now, we are just going to click through the other scenes and everything that's preloaded here, and this is very, very normal of what you're going to get with one of these supercharged packages. Is a starting soon, a be right back, an ending, an intermission, and an in-game footage. All down here, and this is what we refer to as our scenes. As well, we're also going to look at some of these editable content blocks here on the left-hand side, which is where we make 80% of our alterations. So, without any further ado, let's do the fun bit and let's skip through our scenes and have a look at what we've got available. So, first up is our stream starting. We then have our stream be right back. We then have our ending, our intermission, where I would suggest that you put a webcam box in this middle bit here. So let me just again make myself a bit larger for a second and make me the prominent feature. So, oh no, maybe that not that prominent. So in this box here that you see, I do excuse the kind of ripple effect here, I would make that my webcam box, okay? So just the one in the middle there. Now at this stage, what I want to do is begin to edit this box on the right hand side. So I'm going to make myself a bit larger again on the screen just to show you how to do that down here in the menu. So for the times that we want to edit, we're going to come down to schedule and we're going to pick a day we want to edit. Let's say Sunday. We're going to double click that and the time that's already pre-allocated is going to come up. And let's say I'm going to do a 12 to 4 on this day. The text size and everything else is already inputted for you, so very little customization is needed. Just the amendment of time or writing day off. You're going to hit done. And then if I shrink myself back down again for a second, you're going to see that that Sunday 12 to 4 has updated itself. To edit the social media links that we've spoken about, you're going to come down here on the left hand side, scrolling down below the editable content blocks to this range of scenes, coding, selections here. And you're going to click social media. So as you can see, I've actually already done my Twitter one, and we're going to change both the YouTube and the Facebook. To work out which one you're going to be editing, I'd suggest you click on this text social 1, 2 and 3 here and watch the box as it will move between the different text highlighting which one you're going to change. So this is going to be my YouTube. So I double click, I come here and I just type in my YouTube URL so people know what to search or click. I'm going to do both of these. For me, all of mine are exactly the same. I've been lucky enough that when I've tried to get the same one on each, it's worked. But I appreciate that that isn't always the case for someone when they've got slightly maybe more common name as an example. So when we come back over to our starting soon, you can actually see that all of the socials have updated themselves. So that's the Twitter one that was already done, and then we've just gone in and amended YouTube as well as Facebook. In our in-game capture, you're going to have a few boxes and bits and pieces for the variety of things that you're able to choose between about what you would like to add or customize in. It's completely your choice what you choose to use. My personal preference is I actually use this 3-box one here, and I use that at the top and bottom. So there isn't a top or bottom one here. One's just a 3-box, one's a 4-box. It's up to you what you want to use. How simplistic or complicated or how much information you want to demonstrate is completely up to you. For the benefit of this video though, I'm just going to use this one on the right hand side. So I'm going to take my screen grab full size so you can have a little better view of what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Let's just get that kind of balance. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to use this one on the right. Now, before you start, you probably want to have an idea of whether your webcam is 720p or 1080p, and on top of that, whether you are going to be broadcasting your webcam in 720p or 1080p. The box to the right is for 720p format, the one to the left is for 1080p format. For the benefit of this video, I am literally just going to use this content on the right hand side to update and customize. As such, I am going to just click on everything else, delete, enter, delete, enter, delete, enter to get rid of everything that I do not need. The next thing that we're going to do at this stage is put in our webcam. So you're going to hit that little plus button. You're going to go into video capture device, add source. It is worth knowing actually just why I misclicked the add source, that when you're going through it, it will give you a brief description in the top kind of left hand corner of this box of what it's looking to capture or what that tab is for. So I always have a quick glance at that before I do anything to make sure I do actually have the right one. You can then label it or call it whatever you want. So a lot of these are going to be called USB video device the first time, so don't be too disappointed if you don't get it saying Logitech blah 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 or Riser KO, so on and so forth. It will normally just say USB video. And then we're going to go ahead and get that resized and into our box here on the right. To do that, we are just going to drag ourselves over. We're going to resize ourselves in line with that box. And at that stage, you are probably going to see that our webcam sits over our overlay, which is no good. I have done it this way on purpose, and that's to make sure that we get the best webcam box to the full surroundings of the overlay. I'm then just going to come down here to the middle bottom. I'm going to grab my video capture device and take it one from the bottom. What that is going to do, if I click over here, is nicely elevate my webcam box over the top of my webcam. And what you can see is it sits perfectly within inside. Webcam not sitting outside, but I've got all the lovely animation going around the outside of my full webcam. Now, what you can use at this stage are the pre-installed and given links that come with StreamLabs OBS. So you have things like your stream labels as an example, you have things like donation goals, you have your alert box, follower goal, all of these that can go in without any fuss. Events list, all giving you little examples. They're really easy to use when you just hit add source. It all does all the work for you. But what I am actually going to do, and from my personal experience and actually guiding Odin through this very recently, I'm going to use StreamElements, and there's two reasons for this. The first reason is because I actually think that StreamElements is a little bit more reliable for the commands. The other thing is that when it comes to this, I want to relieve as much pressure off my CPU as I can. And anything that's an MP4 file, MP3, animated overlays, webcams, microphones, so on and so forth, this all adds stress to our CPU and an extra load. So if we can do anything to remove some of that pressure, it's going to make it significantly easier and lighter for it to run without causing it too many issues. So that's one of the reasons why I use StreamElements. The other one, like I mentioned, is I actually think it works better. I have found and listened to some feedback from you all that with Streamlabs and StreamLabs OBS, some of the notifications could be quite delayed in populating, and I've never had that issue with StreamElements. So that's something in particular that we are definitely going to look into. Now, what I'd like to show you is how we can take this information, wherever this works on my screen, so where it currently says new subscriber, and how we can go about updating that and changing that. Now, unfortunately, the way that the screen grab software actually works on this is I'm going to be unable to show you, so we'll make sure my descriptions are as on point and accurate as they possibly can be. On the left hand side of your page, where you select your different scenes such as starting soon, in game, be right back, so on and so forth, you're going to have down a little bit further something that says editable content blocks. Now, these have been pre-assigned depending on the original installs that came with Nerd Order, and what you will have is support vertical 4 and 3, and they are the stacks that go on top of one another. One is 3 high, one is 4 high, to make that even easier. And the horizontal times 3 and times 4 are the bars we've already spoken about that go along the bottom of the page. The times 3 is obviously the 3 bar one, and the 4 the 4. For the purpose of this video, we are going to use the support vertical 3 because that is what we've used before. Now, what we are going to do is in the top left hand corner where the lightning bolt kind of sign is, we're going to remove that and delete that, because we are going to change that to something completely different. We're going to do exactly the same with the new subscriber, so I'm going to delete that and move that away. What you're going to need to do at this point for what we are going to do is next to sources on the right hand side where the plus is, I want you to click that, go across to where it says image and hit add source. At this stage, you're going to add a source, make sure you name it a relevant name, like whatever the icon may be, and then you'll have image file and empty box. Make sure you hit browse. What you're going to need to do at this point is navigate your way back through your menu looking for your Nerd or Die folder, and you're going to need to go into graphic assets individual links that will normally be within your overlay folder. Go into the colorway that you're using, so this is the blue and purple. Go onto icons, go onto small, and then select the icon that we want. I'm going to make this top bar about my followers. So for me, there is a follow _ small. I'm going to double click that, which will load it in, and then hit done. I'm then going to use the arrows that I have on my keyboard to position that exactly where I need it to go. Now, as I can see, this has already used font and colorways that I'd like to replicate when I customize and add this new one on top. So what I'm going to do is scroll down under sources where it says new donation, and that will say then top donation underneath that. I'm going to double click that, and that's going to bring up the text. The only thing I want to do at this stage is on the left hand side where you see color, and then you see hashtag 00FF02, so on and so forth. For my purpose, I want to scroll down where there are 4 white boxes in a row. And using your phone or a notepad and pen, I just want you to take a picture of those light grey kind of letters and numbers that are in those white boxes. So become apparent while we're doing that in a minute. You also want to take note that in this instance I'm using Montserrat as my font, bold and size 18. I'm now going to go back and hit the plus. I'm going to hit text GDI plus and add source. I'm then going to go to add source, and in this I am going to write the words latest follower. What I'm then going to do is make sure that I've clicked the use Google font button. I'm going to go down and I'm going to select the Montserrat font that was used in the previous screen. I'm then going to go and select bold. I'm going to make sure that's size 18. Then I'm going to go down to where it says color, and this is when you'll need the picture that I mentioned that you take on the phone. So if you go into your picture or where you've taken your note and start typing from left to right the details that you've captured. So for me that is 02A, 9FF, hit tab, and what I've found normally is that the rest of the details will update themselves automatically. Once you're happy with that and it's accurate, you're going to hit done. And again, use the arrows on your keyboard to move that text into place where you need that to be. At this stage, you're going to need to come across to the StreamElements website. And when you do log on, you're going to see something like this. I'm going to need you to go down to where it says Alert and Overlays. Click My Overlays. Click blank, Create Blank Overlay on the right hand side. That should populate a new page. Just hit Start. And then what I want you to do is go down to the box, a little plus in the bottom right hand corner, labels, followers, latest follower, which will populate this information. Because this is linked to my Zeus Gaming UK account, this information is correct, I know that for a fact. But the first thing we're going to want to do is come over here to the left hand side and delete this latest follower, colon and space, just so we have the name. That's all we need. What we are going to want to do as well is come down to text settings and make sure again that we have this set to Montserrat. So I'm just going to find that in the menu. You may find that with the overlays and bits and pieces that you're using that your font is slightly different. For the one that I'm using, this is mine. So you just want to know this by looking at the text back in SLOBS before we make any changes to anything else, and be certain. So that's fine, that's bold, that's all done. And then I would suggest you drag it around about to this location. Sounds a little bit weird, but it just really seems to work a lot better when you're putting it in. You're going to go to Emulate next, hit Follower Event, and make sure that changes to make sure the coding is working. It is, so I'm going to save that. I'm going to name that whatever I need to. I'm going to, again, hit the save, and then I'm going to come up here to Copy Overlay URL. At that stage, when I've done that, I'm just going to return back to SLOBS. Okay, and now I'm back in SLOBS. Where it says sources, to the right I'm going to hit the plus. I'm then going to go to web browser or browser source, second one from the left under image, which is browser source. Hit add source, name that again whatever you wish, and then next to the URL above the width you're now just going to Control V that link we took from StreamElements, post that in. You may need to move this box around a little bit so that you can see the white writing. Drop that close to where it needs to be, and then use your keys to put that in place. Just as an FYI, you will only see any alterations you make within the vicinity of these 3 boxes. So it might put something on your page for you, but until you drag it up and move it around in those boxes, you won't actually see the physical image. As I have mentioned before, we are going to show you today that if you don't have a capture card, an ELGATO or one of the other brands, and you just want to use SLOBS because, let's face it, it is a better program than just streaming directly from your Xbox or Lightstream. On top of that, it's completely free of charge and allows us to customize the type of level that we're streaming at. And why wouldn't we use it? But this is going to be without a capture card. So we're going to need something now if you're using Xbox, and this is also available through other games consoles, but the method will be slightly different. However, you should be able to follow these steps and it'll be a similar principle. But for the likes of Xbox, we're going to head across to the companion app on your PC or other device now and show you exactly how we get that set up and working. So here we are over at the Xbox Console Companion. If you haven't downloaded it already, I'd highly recommend that you do. You will need to follow these next steps. Get yourself signed in and at this screen here. Once you've got to this page, I want you to come across here to the bottom left-hand corner where it says Connection. Clicking on this will give you a couple of options. Now, obviously, I've used this before, so mine may look a little bit different to what yours does first time around. But you'll just need to go into Add New Device and follow the steps. Once you get to this point, what I'm going to need you to do is just then hit Stream. Now, this isn't you streaming to the internet. What this is doing is pairing your Xbox screen to your PC screen. So whatever happens on my Xbox happens on my PC. So you're just going to hit continue because at this point it's actually looking for a controller for us to play through our PC, but we're not doing for that functionality. So I'm going to pick up my own Xbox control. I'm going to go onto my Xbox. I'm just going to scroll through some of the menu to actually, or even start the starting video, so you can see that this is working live and in real time. I'm flicking my head at the moment between both my monitor on my PC and my Xbox, and they are working seamlessly in connection with one another. Absolutely brilliant. A really, really cheap and effective way to not lay out maybe the £200 on a capture card straight away. Now we are seconds away from being able to stream. There is one step left to follow just to make sure it all looks sharp and ready. What you're going to need to do is just make sure, like we've already mentioned, that you have your Xbox Console Companion open and raring to go. You're now going to be hearing game sound, I hope. I'm going to head back to StreamLabs OBS for a second, show you this here. So your desktop audio gives you the ability to quiet or increase the level of how loud that is all going to come through, and you might want to spend some time running some test streams or doing some recording to get that balance just right and get it to a volume that you're happy with. Once you've got that, please bear in mind not only your game volume is going to come through here, but actually if you're in a party on Xbox, the people that are speaking and their voices will also come through as well. The one thing I would recommend is that you always have your mic or aux higher than the game and sound from everybody else. Now we're pretty much ready to go. So if I click back here, you should see my webcam, what we're playing, everything's ready to go. And as I move around on my screen or I start looking for a game, it is going to be a live reaction of exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so at this stage we're going to want to head back across to our mixer page, broadcast dashboard. We're then going to want to look at this at the top and copy our stream key, heading straight back to StreamLabs OBS. When we're here, I want you to click on the settings in the bottom left hand corner and go straight to stream near the top. Now, what I've shown you is how we get this live and working for Mixer. However, this process is applicable like this through the majority of streaming services that are out there. At this stage, you're going to select whichever platform you're looking to stream to, whether that's Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, the new Facebook, so on and so forth. For the interest of doing it to Mixer, you would select mixer.com FTL. You would make sure this is left at auto detect, and you would Control V and paste your stream key into this box and then hit done. If you're using another site, anything of any kind, what you're able to do at this stage is just obtain your stream key from that site and paste it in the same format. Once you've done that, you're ready. You're going to hit go live. You're going to make sure you're up here on your starting soon or starting screen, and you're about. That has been yet another whistle stop tour, and I hope enough detail for all of you on how we are going to set up StreamLabs OBS using a gaming console without a capture card and get it working. As always, guys, there's so many more videos to come. I haven't gone into great detail, you may have noticed today, about how to set up your microphone as an example through StreamLabs OBS or SLOBS, but that is because in my next video we are going to go through choosing your microphone, which one you may want to buy, what settings you're going to want to put on that to get the best sounding microphone, and then finally how to put that on StreamLabs OBS. I'm going to share that all with you, and we will see how we go from there. Once again, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. Again, please feel free to help by whacking that subscribe down there and giving this channel a follow or a like. All of my socials are going to be down there, as well as anything we've mentioned in this video and where you can buy certain things as well. Thank you for coming through. Really look forward to seeing you again. And remember, if you're online, come through, check out the stream, have a chat, say hello and get involved. But for me, Zish Gaming, that is all for today, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next episode.